Hey guys, it's Covert Arms, and we're going to do an overview of the theory of covert antennas and the use case for them. So, this is the standard antenna you'll get when you're using a UV5R radio. All these antennas I'm going to be showing you work with the UV5R and variations of this, the F8HP, stuff like that. And this antenna that comes with the Battlefield radio is great. It's got a lot of range on it. Honestly, it's a pretty good unit. However, as you can notice, compared to these two, it's quite large. And the reason why that's not always opportune is when you're trying to conceal this radio, that larger antenna can become a nuisance. It can get pretty annoying pretty quickly, especially when you stow this in something like a hoodie pocket, which I like to do, or even the pocket of just your pants. This antenna sticks out like a sore thumb. It's quite annoying, and for that reason, I looked into better options, which is why I found and released now for sale at Covert Arms all these covert antennas, and we've got even more coming out soon. These are just the ones we got right now. And these antennas, the point of them is to provide a smaller form factor without decreasing the range by an unusable amount. While your range is going to be smaller, it's not at all unusable. But there's a different use case for each, and it's important to understand that. Many people online that I've seen when they buy one of these smaller antennas expect to have the same capabilities of the larger one in the smaller form factor. And if you know anything about antennas in general, that's not possible. There's a reason they make antennas like this massive extended one, which we also sell at covertarms.com. It's pretty big, and the reason why you'd use this over this is because you want longer range. The reason you'd ever downgrade is not anything to do with range, because why would you want a smaller range on your antenna? Maybe there's some crazy use case, but it's not rational. The reason you would downgrade to a smaller antenna is because you want a smaller form factor of a radio. I mean, you can compare, okay, this is massive. You're not concealing this unless you tuck it in your shirt or something. This is bigger, but it's better. But once you start getting down to a form factor like this or this, and you can see it for yourself, that's significantly smaller. I mean, this radio itself with the antenna is the same height as, it's actually a little smaller than the stock antenna. That's a pretty crazy difference, and this really starts to shine when you're trying to hide a radio on your person. Like I said in the example, I like to put these sometimes in my hoodie pockets, you know, that big front pocket in the hoodie, and when you're laying it sideways down in there, if you've got the standard antenna sticking out, it will stick out. You will have part of your radio hanging out of the pocket. But any of these other two options for covert antennas, you won't see it. It'll blend right in, it'll stick in your radio, and you're not going to have any protrusion, and it's not going to create a noticeable bulge from the antenna. And that's why I use smaller antennas like this. The range itself is definitely smaller, but it's still usable. But the use case here is important. These are the kinds of antennas I would use on smaller operations. If I'm just doing little surveillance in a city where I'm communicating with someone in a car just a block away or something, or down a few houses or something, preferably close to me. If I need to transcend through a forest or through multiple neighborhood blocks, I'm going to opt for a larger antenna option. And I'm not the guy who's going to come out here and saying, you have to have the perfect gray man kit and it's got to be this super small miniature antenna and it's the same capabilities. No, that's ridiculous. And these people who say that generally don't know what they're talking about. The train of thought that I like to think about, and a lot of people I respect have taught me this, is that your gear needs to reflect your mission, because your mission dictates your gear. It's the mission mindset. What gear you carry with you needs to be specific to your gear. Small mini chest rigs, I forget the name, micro rigs, they're useful if you're running something where you don't need sustainment. If you need sustainment, you need a bigger chest rig. It's that simple. It's the same thing here. If you're running a small covert operation and you just want to be able to conceal that radio and don't need a crazy amount of range, covert antennas are a great option. If you're in the forest trekking through the mountains and need a lot of range, obviously don't use one of these. And there's a lot of misconception in the radio world with antenna and range and what you actually need for that. So choose first what your mission is, decide what you're doing, and then base the gear you're going to carry with you off of what you need for that. Your capabilities should match what you're doing. And that's something that has been misunderstood in the tactical community forever. I'm sure if you've been paying attention for a while, you've seen the crazy debate regarding things like chest rigs and rucks and sustainment gear. and ammo, the amount you carry on you, all that kind of stuff. It just comes down to this. Your mission dictates your gear. What are you doing? That determines what to bring with you. Micro rigs aren't better than fully load out sustainment gear and load-bearing equipment, and load-bearing equipment isn't necessarily better than micro rigs. It depends on what you're doing, and one setting is not going to work for it, and another setting will. It's the same thing here. Covert antennas are meant for me when I want to conceal my radio and my target who I am talking to is not multiple miles away through buildings and trees and all of that. That's my use case for these antennas. I hope you enjoyed. All these antennas can be found at covert-arms.com. Link will be in the description. This is the stock one, so it comes with the radio, but we sell these too. We also sell the extended ones, and we're looking at stocking a lot more antenna options in the future because, as I said, mission dictates your gear, and we're trying to supply gear for a lot of different missions and scenarios that people might need this stuff for. So if you would like to get any of these, check them out, covert-arms.com. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more breakdowns of ideas like this in the future so you guys can better understand covert theory and what the page and channel is really all about. See you guys in the next video.